What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the current data points, latest and updates, and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So NIO is down 0.85%, 346 the low, 352 the high, kind of low volume, so 7 million shares being traded, 32 is the average. You did see a nice spike up during the pre-market, and that was because of a new re-rating from Goldman. So they changed their analyst rating from a sell to a neutral, and their price target from 370 to 380. So nothing overly crazy, but given where NIO is at for the price point, 380 is still seen as relatively optimistic. So let me know your viewpoint on that. A couple other things did come out, was one of which was the weekly registration numbers came in at 4,735 as a group. Firefly and Envo didn't really do all that much. So Firefly came in at 437. And then Envo 1,234. NIO, for the most part, was a saving grace, but I'm sure a lot of people still not really satisfied with these numbers. At least it's kind of breaking the trend that it was on, but 3,064 for NIO. So let me know your viewpoint on these. The only other thing that did come out that's kind of worth bringing up was this. So Firefly was spotted being tested in Australia. So this is absolutely random, and I'm not really sure the infrastructure for Australia and how pro and friendly EV they are, so I don't know why NIO's really doing this, but I don't really see this as a good catalyst, and I really hope that NIO doesn't, because Firefly, in my opinion, will be a flop in Australia. Europe, very well suited for the infrastructure, price point, everything range, that's very well suited for Europe. Australia, not so much. They have a very similar kind of circumstance as the States, unless Firefly is only going to be used for the city use. Outside of that, it would be rather useless. So I don't know. What's your viewpoint on this in the comments below? And if you are familiar with the infrastructure in Australia, is it pro EVs? Is it, well, what's your kind of general thoughts on that in the comments below? But coming from a macro standpoint, no real data points. We did have a lot of good data coming from Sunday, but the market's already priced all that in. And one thing I do want to bring up though is once again shorts. So given the fact that we have 7 million shares being traded, why we did get suppressed and had this push lower was because of shorts. Right now they're increasing 1.18 million shares. 13.61% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 209.98 million shares overall are being shorted. So given that we're having relatively low volume, so sitting at 7 million, this 1.18 is very impactful. And this is one thing I've brought up in the past, even outside of NIO. Any stock that does have relatively low volume and it is heavily shorted, this is where you kind of have a recipe for disaster. At the end of the day, though, that narrative could be spun to a squeeze play because, of course, if shorts make up for the majority of the volume and there's some good catalyst that does come out, they'll be kind of dampering to return. But the key of all that is you need a surprise catalyst. But up until that does come out, like, shorts are pretty much dictating the narrative for NIO. So it is rather unfortunate to see that it does get suppressed almost every single day. But looking at the options, so you have 272,000 in calls, 355 in puts. So today's going to be a relatively low options day. 49% of all the options being done today are bearish in nature. So not the best, but of the bulls, still people are believing that it will be above that 4 for this week and as well going into next week. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 350. And the fact that we are at 350 right now is still fairly good. A lot more upside is anticipated, but as you can kind of see, or lack thereof, institutions aren't really doing all that much with NIO. So algorithmic trading is taking a good chunk of the volume as well, aside from shorts. So no transactions on the secondary market. Dark pool, you do have a handful, but given shorts and what they're doing, it is fair to assume most of these are attributed to that. So let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below. With it right now at 350, it is slightly above this S1, so 349 is going to be a key pivot for NIO today, and if it is able to close above it, then you could see a start of a potential nice reversal. So 378 is going to be that next strong target / resistance, and then 331 is going to be that next strong support. So let me know your viewpoint on NIO in the comments below. Another key level to watch for, which most likely, given the circumstances and the market, won't be touched this week, is going to be that 50-day moving average, and that's sitting at 377. So that is always a big deal for NIO, and that, if you're a technicals individual, that should be the next thing that gets you very excited. But as I've explained in the past, NIO has really attempted numerous times over the last year to break out from that. Just as per usual, shorts really double down and try to kill the momentum, and it's just a crappy scenario. So NIO will eventually move higher. It's just the $1 million question is when. So patience is key with stocks such as NIO. So let me know your viewpoint on NIO. What's your thoughts on them potentially expanding to Australia, or do you think it's just gonna stick to the testing stage and nothing's going to come to fruition from that? So what's your viewpoint? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Discord, completely free. A lot of good people talking about stocks, options, crypto, everything that you ever need in life. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.